They say every city has a soul. You can hear it in the footsteps of people hurrying to work, the chatter of shopkeepers calling out to customers, the smell of food drifting through crowded streets. But here, there is nothing. A silence so complete it feels unnatural. You stand at the center of a gleaming city square, skyscrapers rising on every side, glass towers catching the sun, and yet the only sound is the wind. This isn't a ghost town, abandoned after a tragedy. This is something far stranger, a city built for life but never lived in. This is China's ghost city. At first, it feels impossible. Why would anyone build an entire metropolis, roads, schools, apartments, shopping malls, without people? But China's ghost cities are not accidents. They are the byproduct of one of the most ambitious experiments in human history, the race to urbanize 1 billion people. The most famous of them all is Ordos Kongbashi in Inner Mongolia. In the early 2000s, Ordos was a desert boomtown, rich in coal money. Officials dreamed of transforming it into a shining modern city, proof that this once remote region could rival Beijing or Shanghai. They built wide boulevards, monumental statues, an opera house shaped like a giant desert flower. Apartments rose by the thousands, enough to house 1 million residents. But when the dust settled, the people didn't come. Today, fewer than 1/10 of that number live there. At night, entire districts lie in darkness. Vast plazas echo with emptiness. Schools stand half full. Malls almost entirely deserted. Walking through Ordos feels less like entering the future and more like stumbling into an eerie parallel world. To understand why, we need to look at how China grows. Unlike most countries where cities emerge organically around demand, in China, growth is often engineered. Local governments are rewarded for building infrastructure, for showing GDP growth on paper. And so, sometimes, they build first and hope people arrive later. But people are not numbers. Families hesitate to move to cities with no jobs, no schools with reputations, no sense of community. Empty apartments bought as investments stay dark, and the city that was supposed to symbolize prosperity becomes a symbol of something else: overreach. Economists call this China's ghost city problem. But here's the twist. Not all ghost cities stay empty forever. Pudong in Shanghai, once mocked as a wasteland of unfinished towers, is now one of the world's most vibrant financial districts. Some believe Ordos, too, will fill, given enough time. And yet, when you walk through its silent streets, you can't help but feel the weight of something deeper. What does it mean to build a city without people? What happens when ambition runs ahead of humanity? For some, these ghost cities represent greed. Developers chasing profits, local officials inflating numbers, apartments turned into speculative assets rather than homes. For others, they are glimpses of the future, cities waiting for the tide of migration that will eventually come. After all, hundreds of millions of Chinese citizens have left rural villages for cities in just the past few decades. Where else will the next wave go? But the human stories here are quieter and more haunting. Imagine being one of the few families who did move in. Your child attends a school designed for thousands, but only a handful of classmates sit in the classroom. You walk through a shopping mall where half the stores are shuttered. At night, from your balcony, you stare across an endless forest of apartment towers, with only a few windows lit. It is life inside a place that was supposed to be alive, but isn't. And the truth is, ghost cities aren't just about China. They force us to ask uncomfortable questions about progress everywhere. What is a city, really? Is it the concrete and glass we build, or the communities we form inside them? Can we engineer life, or only the shell of it? One expert described ghost cities as monuments of potential. They're like seeds, planted too early, waiting for the right season. But seeds can also rot if they are left too long in barren soil. And that is the tension haunting these places. Will they bloom into thriving urban centers, or will they remain skeletons of ambition, silent reminders of what happens when dreams outpace reality? Standing in Ordos at night, surrounded by thousands of dark apartments, you feel both awe and unease. Awe at the sheer scale of what humanity can build. Unease at how fragile the meaning of it all really is. Because a city without people is not a city at all. It is an echo, a question left unanswered, a ghost. And perhaps the ghost is not the empty streets or the vacant towers. Perhaps the ghost is us, our restless hunger to build, to expand, to control the future, without stopping to ask what future we are building for. Because in the end, a city's true power doesn't lie in its skyscrapers. It lies in its people, in the messy, noisy, unpredictable life that fills its spaces. Without that, even the grandest skyline is just an empty monument waiting in the dark. So the next time you walk through your own city, hear the laughter, the traffic, the life, remember Ordos, remember the ghost city, and ask yourself, what really makes a city alive?